Welcome to Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel where I tell you about all kinds of edible things I've got going on in my small backyard in Central Florida. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. This is one of my live streams. Keep in mind, this phone is not great, so the quality is what it is. But I have lots of other high definition videos you can check out on the channel. Please do that. So we've made major changes. Here's one of them. I have chickens now, and I'm loving that. It's so fun. They're having a lot of fun. I've got my chicken coop built. Almost done. Finishing putting in some screening. Whoop. You can see I've got the brooder still in here, but that's the thing I built. This back nesting boxes won't be opened up until they get a little older. Everything in the yard is bursting with the growth and abundance right now. Raining down the bunny manure, which is having great results, also keeping it watered. Been applying worm tea to the yard about 2 times a week, and the result is clear. The bunny manure, the worm tea, and I'm going to show you something that I'm about to add here in this video, so stay on for a bit and I'll get to it. But the third thing that I've done, getting ready to do, and that is to add micronutrients. Look at these Tommy Atkins mangoes, man. If there was ever a beautiful mango, this is it. This is why they grow these commercially. Look, if you polish it up. Gets that shiny glow to it. There's a little waxy thing, and you see that sap. These are so juicy that when you snap the mango off, it squirts sap. So you have to aim it in the right direction because that sap is insidious. Another thing is this strawberry tree, which I planted in the What You Got Grown On series, is doing very well. It's now well over 6 feet. Just stoked about. Grew that from a seed last year on that series. And just so you get an idea of what you can do, just stay committed. This is an interesting stage of growth of the Jamaican cherry, cotton candy tree, Muntingia, in that if you haven't grown one of these before, you might get alarmed if you see the bottom leaves doing this, dying, turning yellow, etc. Show you an example. But that's a very natural part of the process. As it starts to get bark appearing, you can see just the beginning of bark. Down at the bottom, it's establishing the bark. I've never seen these produce fruit before they have bark, so the fact that it's getting some bark is a good thing. Beautiful white, almost fuzzy bark on these trees. And I'm going to let these longer branches, suckers, whatever you want to call them, grow, because I'm going to take cuttings off of those once they have bark. But you can see this is completely covered with leaves, all dropped off. It's becoming a tree now, but it's also getting hit by that sprinkler right there, which is killing off most of the, well, affecting most of the lower leaves, and they're kind of dropping off more quickly than they would have. But this top part, super, super healthy. Now these are very soft-leaved type of fruit tree, but I'd recommend it for anybody. This is a great entry-level fruit tree. It's a staple, in my opinion, to have in any yard that's a food forest in Florida, certainly. However, it will get shredded with heavy winds, which is fine because it grows right back. It's not great tree to trim in that it doesn't heal over terrific. You want to make the trims when it's small, wherever possible. But this is a fantastic tree. I've got 3 of them in my yard. This one is not even a year old. Therefore, no fruit yet. But it'll be a copious producer of fruit, certainly. I have one that I bought at a nursery because I wanted fruit right away, and it is getting loaded with fruit. We'll go over and take a look at that, but I also want to show you the figs. Yeah, so the Montingia, beautiful, beautiful. The chickens will eat many of those berries as they drop on the ground, that's for sure. And I can see they're starting to migrate this way. Now, they haven't found my little vegetable garden yet. Major discovery of 2021 for me is the fact that carrots grow very easily in sandy, loose soil here if we just keep them watered. So we've been feeding the rabbits and the chickens lots of carrots. Also, we've been eating them. The pigeon peas are doing really well. Look at the size of this pigeon pea. Now it's well over 6 feet tall, expanding out, just beginning to chop and drop it and feed it to the various creatures. The chickens and the bunnies will eat every bit of every leaf of this pigeon pea. So I've been doing that, but as I chop it, you know, new ones are going to grow. But man, oh man, I've been able to tree form this one. Look at how thick that is. You know, I was a little worried about the sound of chickens in my yard until I realized that my yard is already super loud with birds, which I love. This pigeon pea is another one I just topped because I want to grow it more like a bush, but you can see all these vertical growth. It's going to be a big producer. Again, everything can eat the pigeon pea, high protein. I did a great video on that one of my favorites in the collection. If you want to check it out, how to grow the high protein pigeon pea. It's a staple kind of food you want to have. Grapefruit tree, again, way past the Lowe's stage of what I call the Lowe's phase, where it looks all pretty coming from the store, and right into the real, which is the beaten, wind affected, salt stunted beauty that it's going to become. You can see it's still powering through it, and that's what I know about the grapefruit tree. That's why I pick it. I do think the local birds are a little agitated by the presence of the chickens too. Oh, here's another one that I planted in the What You Got Growing On series. I planted this one in a live stream. It's Persian Mulberry, growing well. Little star fruit. In Florida, I recommend moving. It's so hot in the summer, so much bright sunlight, is to move those more delicate plants like a star fruit. Hey, chick, chick. Yeah, chick, chick. Oh, look at those chickens. They come right to me now. We trained them in 3 weeks. Hey, you're on the internet. Look at how mellow. Oh yeah, you want to keep hunting bugs, I know. We handle them a lot, so they'll get used to being handled. They are 3 weeks old and loving it. It's really fun. I doubt there'll be a bug left in the yard. Yeah, adding the animal component to my yard this year with both rabbits and chickens has just had an incredible and almost immediate effect. Everything is lush and green. Everywhere this little herd goes, they're leaving droppings that are going to make everything grow better. But here's a Montingia tree that's a little older. I bought this one in a nursery, paid about 30 bucks for it. Well worth it. Oh, look at this one. Are you upset? You lost your group, huh? That's what happens when they lose their group. They just signal. It's funny. They're right there. Chicken time. But yeah, so this Montingia tree is producing fruit. We ate one off of it last night, but you can see it's starting to, here, let me show you there. These little berries, they get about maybe the size of a dime diameter type of thing, but lots of fruit. They'll just be growing little berries like that everywhere, which is why they're a kid favorite, adult favorite too. Jack had one last night. He had never had one, which is why My other kids had, but I didn't replant them once they died. These are short-lived trees. By the way, they only live to be about 15 years old, but I love that. Just have to replant. Oh, look at this. A butterfly. I got so many butterflies in my yard. Butterfly on the strawberry fruit tree. Pollinators. Here's another little butterfly. Yeah, all different types of butterflies flying around. We've actually checked at him, so they were landing on his hand. Crazy. But yeah, if you want fruit right away, I'd buy one. If not, although also the Montingia seeds are easy enough to grow. If you can grab those off Amazon, I'll try to remember to throw a link in the description. This is a tamarind tree. Finally bought tamarind trees, two of them, one in the front yard, one in the backyard, and it's doing pretty well, I would say. So this is a sweet tamarind tree. And I tried to grow all kinds of different tamarind fruit trees for months and months and months, and nothing was growing. And I finally took one of the pots that I had it in and threw it into the bed, and then look what happened. Tamarind trees, lots of them. I'm letting them grow up a little bit here so that I can then transplant them to pots. But these will all be wonderful trees, and I think these are the sour kind. I don't know though for sure because I lost track. It doesn't really matter to me because I love them both. I'm gonna plant some of those around for sure. And I've got a new crop of these carambola trees, the starfruit trees. This is a great time to grow carambola trees in Florida, by the way, because it's warm enough that they don't get burned. They're really super sensitive. Super sensitive to cold, especially. And squirrels got a few of them when I planted them. Jack actually just threw a bunch of the seeds into a pot, and they all sprouted. So I just transplanted them all. If I can get them to a certain height, this summer, then I can protect them away in the winter. But one good freeze and they're done. So you got to be really careful in this area. Not a good freeze, but even down into the 40s, we'll get those when they're little. This is a Florida edible. We've gotten into the habit now of growing these edibles in pots, just because we can grow them to be much bigger than in the yard. But this is we'll pick a couple of these. This is a delicious edible if you haven't actually had it. Oh, hey, Jack. Yeah, so let's see. Maybe we can show you how everything loves to eat this because it's a sweet, succulent thing. Hey, Jack. You think I'll eat some?
Maybe.
You want some You want some deer's paw? Oh, yes, you do. So calm. Here you go. Hey, seriously, I will eat some. Hey. Come on, chick. Come on, chick. Yep, chick. Oh, they found some in the pot here. There's some more growing in that pot. Yeah, I'm gonna put chicken wire in this area so that they don't get into the vegetable garden. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. They love those shady wet areas, the bug concentrations. My compost bins continue to compress. Never-ending bottomless pit of how much compost I can put in these. It's amazed me, but it just gets more and more dense. Pretty soon now, we're going to be up on the 5 or 6 month mark, and I think I'll flip them. Need to buy a pitchfork for that activity. This backyard becomes more and more like a farm every moment, which is so cool. I find the whole family is drawn outside to it. They're either coming out to pet the bunnies or pick some fruit or whatever. This is, for me, why you have a food forest. One of the many reasons is it sustains you also in much deeper ways. But what could be more meaningful than the production of food? These are chocolate pudding tree fruit. These are chocolate pudding fruit, very young. I did a severe trim back on this tree. It got destroyed by hurricanes year after year after year, and it finally got a little bit.
There's red tomatoes over there.
Oh, tomatoes? You want to pick some tomatoes?
Maybe the ones that are like just red that can still be black.
Yeah, if they find that carrot patch, they're going off the Richter scale. Those chickens will not be able to, they'll be like heat-seeking missiles towards those carrots every time. I found the chickens love carrots. Oh, tomatoes, those are the Seminole tomatoes.
It looks like cherry tomatoes. I see some cherry ones.
They're actually black and orange, the Seminole tomatoes, which is cool. Yeah, you want to pick some of those cherry tomatoes? Pick me a few of those cherry tomatoes. These are the other cherry tomatoes we got over at Funky Chicken Farm in Palm Bay. And we're still enjoying these cherry tomatoes. Look. Wow. What's the secret to growing cherry tomatoes like that?
Water.
Water.
Sunlight.
Yeah, look, there's a sunflower up in there.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Garden Earth guy. Oh, nice. Setting fruit now. I don't have one of those, huh?
There's like fun.
Grilled tomatoes for breakfast. Yeah, and these ones that are a little bit imperfect, I'm going to throw them in here and hope I get a volunteer. Oh, look at this one. Got burrowed. And some bugs burrowing. One for the bugs. This one got a bug on it too. Oh no. Okay, I got two. That's a perfect one. We let them go a little too long. It's my fault. I don't blame the bugs this time. Yeah, those are some beauties. Yeah, there's a sunflower back up in there too. Probably ready to harvest. We need to probably need to pick these sunflower leaves and put them in the fridge. What's that? Yeah, there's plumeria way back there. Plumeria are starting to bloom now.
Yeah. It's flower season.
Glad you brought that up.
Tall.
We've got one over here. We tried to have every plumeria in our yard be a different variety.
Our prime one is on the side of the house.
That one's not going yet. You want to go pick a plumeria?
I thought it would be a pretty. Because of the hose.
Wow, those tomatoes are good. There we go. All right. Can I do this? Here, Jack. You take the phone. Oh, you found them. There you go. You can take one off the ground, huh? Here. Hold the phone. If I go too far, it'll snap it, right?
Yeah. It's not what you want. Primers. The back of it looks cool.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about these flowers is you identify them by the way that they look on the back and on the front. And you can see this one has that beautiful orange in the center. But I think there's over 300 varieties of frangipani.
Yeah.
And the smells are all different. That's another way. You can categorize them in so many ways. But this one is, to me, my favorite. Also, the structure of the plant. Look at how this is like gigantic tree-formed thing. And the one that we were just at is a little bit smaller. This one is a big one. Some of them are kind of stay small.
And there's a couple over there that are still small.
Double. That's nice. We'll have to give these to Mom. Alright, here, you want me to pick them?
I'll take a flower.
Ooh, the edible pad cactus are perking up. I gave them a little bit of that chicken compost, which is just the chicken bedding with the manure on it. Look at these Hawaiian papaya, too. They're starting to get bigger.
Look at these starfruit.
These will all be giants. Man, oh man. I plant them in groups here because some of them will be male and I get rid of those. So we just want the fruit producers. Yeah. There's lots of papaya up there today, blowing in the wind. We've had 3 windy days. It's been beautiful. I think the high today is supposed to be 78 degrees. Room temperature. Going out on the boat. I might put a video up on Florida Fishy Finger later if anybody's interested. One of my other YouTube channels. That one would be related to fishing. Not chickens. Look at this. Spider. Yeah. I like to knock down as few spider webs as possible.
There you go.
Oh, you did all his good work.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's not a good location for him. He should build it somewhere else.
Italian except for spiders.
Yeah, he should build it somewhere else. Is that these are all the same type. Those crab spiders, those little crab spiders.
I'm gonna end his web.
Yeah. I've never heard of anybody getting bit by them, but bitten by them, but imagine you can be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Man. Look at how beautiful these crotons look. You gotta have crotons in your yard. Do you eat what? Sorry, Garden Earth guy. Do you eat which? I didn't catch the point when you'd asked the question. Oh yeah, Treasure Outdoors for sure. It's awesome to have figs raining down. We're gonna go take a look at those figs here. I will not let down the title of this video, but I felt compelled to tell you that these crotons are a must-have, and just for the color. They're not edible, they're not an amazing chop and drop crop. They're just beautiful. Just amazing and diverse types to this plant type. Holy moly. So many varieties. The Miami Mystery Mission is one I've always wanted to take, which is to go down there and just... Oh, that would be a good Eat Your Backyard video. I should do that just as a way for novel adventure. Go down to Miami, go to some of the oldest neighborhoods, and just see if I could drive by, catch anybody around, and ask for cuttings of crotons and try to collect a bunch. Because I've heard this, there are some alleyways in Miami that you could encounter 20 varieties of croton. I believe it. And some of them are old varieties you can't find anywhere. But look at that. This is the common one you can just get anywhere. Mamie croton, I believe it's called. But this one, banana croton. This one is a dreadlock croton. Can you tell I like crotons? That one's been a little spindly, but it's coming back. The rabbit turds are waking it up. This is one I got from a friend that is fairly uncommon, I believe. But I love it. It grows well in the shade. Perfect application right there. All right. Back to the zoo. Figs. Now this is the time of the year when the first crop generally comes in. And if you watch the videos about this I made earlier this year and last year, you know, I trimmed it down to a flat tabletop kind of cut. Thanks for the thumbs up, by the way. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It helps a lot. But what's happened is the fig production, when you trim it properly, and it's not a big complicated thing on how to trim it properly, but the fig production, much bigger figs and a much more managed access to the sun for the whole tree. And as you can see, every little branch has 4. Now, the key is to be give a little advice, in my opinion, is to be ready to harvest them when they start. Because when these start, you could easily be getting 50 figs a day, and those can go to waste, become bug food. I just think figs are too good to let them become bug food. If you can help it, they'll become. I'm okay with them becoming chicken food or rabbit food, but I'd rather not these become bug food because they're so good. And by the way, you can make preserves out of them. And now I have a pectin-producing plant, which is the Florida cranberry, aka the red Roselli hibiscus, which produces calyx, flower heads, buds that contain tons of pectin. Tons, a lot of pectin. And pectin is used for jams, so now I have all the ingredients to make my own jam. So I have no excuse. Hello, Penelope. Oh, look at you. Stretching it out, yawning. Looking. What do you want? I think I know. So I cleaned the bunny turd bin last night. I try to clean it about every 2 days. It's real easy. I got these pans at Tractor Supply. They've been working out great. But this is how much manure two bunnies produce in, how long was that, would you say? This must be kind of embarrassing for you, huh? No, I don't think so. Yeah, this is how much they produce in about a 12-hour period. A little less than 12-hour period. Less than 12. Yeah. Now Penelope, here's the thing I'm finding with the animals, livestock, pets, whatever, but especially things like rabbits and chickens. It seems like you just work with them over time, let them go at their rate, and before you know it, they just are crazy fools for affection, which both these rabbits are. I mean, it's amazing the lifestyle these rabbits have. We let them out to exercise 2-3 times a day, and that makes them just really chill. Look at how relaxed. These are little rabbits too, and they're known to be timid, kind of cagey, so to speak, but no, they'll both just come right to the front of the cage and want to get that, and actually get that petting, but also get those treats. We're feeding them, let's see, Penelope had today sunflower leaves and carrot greens so far, fresh picked from the garden, and immediately into the rabbit. And then out from the rabbit comes the manure, from the manure to the yard and back in again. Look at that. You know what that is? It's a sunflower head. If you've never fed a rabbit a sunflower head, I'd recommend you try it. Especially if they're these little lionhead bunnies that are like beyond cute. Now Penelope here is a female bunny. Her brother's in the cage next door. And she's about 3 months old, 3 or 4 months old. Boy, they love sunflowers. And who doesn't? They'll eat every part of the sunflower. Oh yeah. Thanks, Treasure Outdoors. Oh, by the way, your channel rocks, my man. I'm stoked you're on here. Actually, I was watching your channel's content. Excuse me. Got a piece of cherry tomato stuck in my throat. All right. But yeah, so cool. It actually inspired me to want to go out and get a metal detector. I really did. I love to look for rocks and that type of thing. I live in an area where I can only look for shells mostly. But yeah, the idea of going out and detecting is so cool. Yeah, rabbits I think are a good choice, you know, because they're easy. Like I've had dogs, cats, etc. But I can tell you the rabbit is very low maintenance. Once you have a rabbit hutch or a cage, you know, they're pretty much, and you set it up with the wire floor, they are really, really easy, and they have great personalities and super affectionate, and they produce the highest quality bunny manure. And that's the thing, bunny manure is the top shelf manure, folks. I mean, you've either got top shelf manure or you don't. In my way of looking at the world, top shelf manure is about as close to gold as you're going to get in this life. And you know, I'm in the pay dirt, so to speak, on this gold streak. And it's the difference it's made in the yard is just fantastic. But the difference it's made just being around these bunnies. Everybody wants to come out and pet the bunnies. Everybody wants to. They're about the softest thing you could ever put your hand on. I'm afraid we're making Penelope a little bit overweight, though. Yeah, I was checking out your Food Forest Treasure Outdoors. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it looks like you got a little Food Forest rock in there, just like me. I was watching the one video where you were having the Nerf war, I think it was, or maybe it was airsoft pellets. That's a great activity for the Food Forest. So it's drone flying, like miniature drone flying. We have those toy drones we fly around, and it's almost like this Food Forest becomes a perfect FPV, first-person video flyer. Here's something I learned from the bunnies. Only do one thing at a time. Hey, James Tropicals. Good to see you here. Welcome. How's that grafted mango tree going, bro? Said you'd gotten one. I was curious what variety. Oh my God. Don't worry. No rabbits have been harmed in the making of this video. But one is absolutely passed out on its side. Oh, bought it online. Okay. That's cool. Oh. This is what a really, really relaxed rabbit looks like. It just sleeps on its side. Paws out. Paws out. Yep. Time for a nap. They had a lot of fresh vegetables this morning. A lot of playtime. I actually put the water and the chicken food in here. I think I'm gonna take the water out to the chickens. Where's this? I don't know where they are. Oh, they're in the vegetable garden. Yep. Chick, chick. Get them to come over here. I might have to come up with a different chicken call. Hey, chick, chick. Hey, chick, chick. They're going at those carrots pretty heavy. I'm gonna have to move them back into their rabbit cage. I would call them back now, but I don't want to make that chicken calling sound 20 times in the video. The rabbits can, the carrots can sustain a little bit of chewing, but it does reinforce the clear need to finish this thing. Just have a few more areas of that hardware cloth. I went with a hardware cloth screen. Easy enough. You see up on the ledge there, I've got a few more rolls of it, so I think I get enough to finish the job. I made some large spans like this that I need to put one more center support so that the hardware cloth doesn't like sag in. You need to have at least, I might put 2 here and 2 here supports, but other than that, it's ready to go. Build in a couple more doors. along the bottom here and so forth. Yeah, but I'm very, very pleased with how this thing came out. They spent their first night in it outside the inside brooder last night, and that's their little warmer that I put in there for them. They're doing pretty well. Yeah, it's plants like this year that are really the game winner, and also the idea of putting vegetables up high so the chickens can't get to them is a good idea now. Yeah, absolutely. The manure situation, the worm tea, the rabbit manure, and oh, thanks. Yeah, the worm tea and the rabbit manure made a quick turnaround in this yard. I mean, and then also the third thing was watering. And now the fourth thing is adding micronutrients, which I've got actually over here on this. It's a big mess, but I'm in the middle of a construction. Hey, look at this. Some of those are, oh, good. Some of those early mangoes. Pick that one. It's a Hayden. It's a beauty. Not pretty, but the best flavor. This is the stuff. This is what Suzanne used over Funky Chicken. She gave me the idea. And it's micronutrients. It's just plant food. It's cheap. I got it at Lowe's. It was like $8, $9, and it's supposed to last 6 months. But it adds in the gap of all the stuff that the bunny manure produces, which yes, you can place the bunny manure directly onto your yard. So I just take buckets of it and have a little shovel and I just sprinkle it everywhere, which is why you see the grass is greening up here big time. I mean, it's still a dry place and I don't care too much about grass, so to speak, but yeah, the fertilizer thing has just been a game changer with the bunny manure. The chicken manure you're supposed to compost, but you can't just put it out. I mean, they're not composting what they're putting on the lawn right now. It'll break down over time. But the bunny manure right away return. I've done experiments where I put a little of it in the yard and then waited a couple weeks to see, and you just see a green, thick. The grass is 2 shades of green, darker, taller, everything. So the effect of it is just obvious, of course, but it's better than I learned. Better than horse manure, better than chicken manure, but in terms of nutrients, better than cow manure by far. They like their little roosting bar. You can see that the roosting bar is getting used right away. They were scared last night, the first night in here. New, meaning I could tell in the way they were chirping. I built this simple little apparatus to hang their waterer on, and I brought the brooder in. See, I got 3 nesting boxes, which I blocked off with the wire for now so they don't go in there. I only want them to use that for laying eggs. Never poop in there. Plan on eating a lot of those eggs. But there's a way to do that. So much information about chickens on the internet. It's incredible. Super fun too. Not enough though. That's access to the eggs. But thanks for the compliment on the chicken coop, man. The hen house. I just pretended one step at a time and figured out every problem that got me to this point. But it's sealed up watertight. And it's rained a bunch, so that's how I can assert that. I actually did things like figured out what flashing is and how to put it on correctly, and pitched the roof, which was very important. When you're pretending to be a carpenter, you make all these dumb mistakes like I make. Like, this thing is an evolution of an idea that was started with this bunny cage here, which was my original project. The bunny cage itself is still great. However, I made an error of using, you can see, non-outside rated wood on the roof, because my theory was, well, I don't want anything with pressure treated stuff above the cage. Well, and I made it a flat roof because I thought it was so small it didn't need to be pitched. All wrong decisions. Nearly 100% wrong decisions. And I got the wrong size screw, so it's like, I actually sawed them off with a hacksaw here where they could hurt people, but inside, yeah, so you can see made just mistake after mistake after mistake. Now this thing actually holds water. There's a little water over there now, and now there's mosquitoes back here all the time. Right, sorry about that, Penelope. Live and you learn. But I'm going to take this whole roof off and make it much more fancy. I got this janky tarp now, but sure beats the alternative. I'm going to make it proper, decent sized pitch roof over this, and these bunnies will be loving it. We're hoping no hurricane. What do you do with 2 bunnies and 6 chickens in a hurricane? That's a question you'll want to have an answer to at this time of year. I certainly do. One of the things is got to get, oh, this is funny. The neighborhood regular birds are coming down and challenging the chickens. Yeah, that's right. It is the best way to learn. Absolutely. Just start doing it. You know, I hope you don't make too many expensive mistakes or get hurt. As long as you don't get hurt. Look at this. This native bird does not like these chickens too much, I don't think. Chickens don't mind. Not like, oh, yeah. Oh, they like that beet. I don't care if they eat that up. But definitely gonna have to. Oh, look at that. Bird is not having it. But it's coming down and seeing a chicken force. You've heard of Space Force? Chicken Force. Chicken Force isn't even flinching with that bird coming up on it, so that tells me these chickens are ripe for the picking of a predator. If that was a hawk, you'd be done, son. So we're only letting them outside of free range in the yard. Oh, chickens like the carrot grove. Who would have thought? Let's see. Oh, look at you. Oh, yeah, how dare I take you out of there. Yeah, chickens just eat up everything. I don't have a lot of vegetable growing stuff on the ground here anyway, so. Yeah, little baby scratchers. That's right. It is almost mesmerizing to watch the chickens just perpetually scratch. And we all just become sort of transfixed. But they love these carrots. Look at this. You enjoying yourself? How many eggs can a Rhode Island red bred with a Rhode Island white produce? They say 250 to 300 eggs. Oh, you lost your other guys. Where are they? Oh boy, they're moving back. This is the farthest they've ever explored. I better shut that door. I realized I left the door. Yeah, a very complex system here. You only have to, yeah, you have to take some training. Ah, look at you. You found the tamarind. They actually make a soup out of these tamarind trees, these baby tamarind trees in Thailand called sour soup. And so I think a fairly common practice there where they actually know how to propagate tamarind trees, as opposed to my attempts, is to grow a bunch of them like this and then just chop, kind of treat them like, you like those tamarinds? I'm curious. Alright, well, I don't want you getting used to it. That I do not want eaten. Oh, look at that. Also got some nice aloe vera. A friend of mine gave me some cuttings. Look at those. I wonder if you like those. You like those? This is a barred rock. Hey, barred rock. Very interesting. Check out this Eureka palm. Yeah, go back in here. Eureka palm. Trying to get bigger. Oh, look. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. See if I can get her to come. Come on. Oh, how embarrassing. Can't get my chickens to come. Yeah, bumper crop. The mulberries actually just stopped producing recently. A couple of them have some mulberries, but for the most part, the mulberries are taking a break and will come back here in a bit. I'm still feeding the leaves and the branches of the mulberries to the rabbits, so they love that. And these are nice and big. I'm going to give my neighbor a couple dozen of these. Getting into making salsa. He wants to make a mango hot pepper salsa. Man, doesn't that sound good? This is a perfect one for salsa, I would think, too, especially if you get them when they're slightly green. The Tommy Atkins mango, talk about a lot on the channel. I love it. But it's actually, I think I'll talk a little bit about it, just to let you know some things we're doing. So it is vigorous and high producer. It's one of your best options for a mango tree that's going to give you fruit. The fruit is not A+, it's more like B-, still amazing. But the good news is they grow from seed very easily. And I don't know if they produce fruit from the trees grown from seed, but what I do know is that they grow a tree from a seed very easily. And so I've got 2 of them that are grown in pots this year, and I'm going to grow many more, and we're going to graft other varieties onto the rootstock of the Tommy Atkins mango. That's a lot of information right there, but that's what we're going to do, and I'm stoked on it. So, you know, this tree too, I plan to graft a bunch of other varieties onto it. I want to create kind of a fruit cocktail mango tree where I have several varieties. A few that I'm very, very interested in are Rosy Gold, Namdok Mai, and I'm actually going to do some other things, which is take this, which is an Edward and has not produced well at all. In fact, it had one mango that hung on for most of this year and then just dropped off. Even the bunny turds, the worm and all the rest didn't do it. Maybe the micronutrients will be the missing link that'll make that one actually produce. But I'm going to graft some of those branches onto this one, so it gets the benefit of the root power of this beautiful, strong growing mango tree, but also we'll get the flavor of the fruit that I'm so wanting to achieve in Edward mango. I mean, how many years can you just believe that a thing can happen without giving up hope? Well, buy an Edward mango and grow it in Central Florida, and you could find out. This is another good example of rootstock stuff. Any kind of same plant area you can graft fairly easily. You just need to find a piece to graft onto it that is about the same diameter. Ow. Woo! That felt painful. There are thorns on the grapefruit tree. Most of the citrus trees that grow well in my yard are going to have thorns. Lemon, lime, grapefruit. Yeah, so you could graft a lemon, a lime, a grapefruit, an orange tree all onto this rootstock of a grapefruit tree. Now, grapefruit trees, if you've ever tried to grow a grapefruit tree from a seed, you know it's a lot like the Tommy Atkins in that it will grow, grapefruit trees from seed very easily. So this is the same thing as that Tommy Atkins mango tree in that it's a hardy grower from seed. However, just like the Tommy Atkins, I doubt that it would have any good fruit from a seed-grown grapefruit. It's more like a tree with occasional grapefruits. So, you grow the grapefruit tree as the stock, and then you graft on to the base stock whatever other citrus you want, whatever citrus your neighbor has that you could ask for a cutting of. That's, you know, usually that, and that's a fun way to go. But I'm looking forward to also grafting some other things onto this grapefruit tree, which is positioned in a really strategic spot in my yard where it's got full southern exposure. You can see this is a very bright area. I'm glad those chickens moved on. But yeah, all for the grafting, and little sprouts everywhere on that thing. There's a little white Marcellus. I was trying to remember what it. White Marcellus fig tree. There's a little one. Good to have a few different types of fig trees that don't overlap in their fruiting season. This is a good example of me doing that here. This white Marcellus only gets to be about 8 feet tall. I put it as an understory underneath this longan, which by the way has lots, it's hard to see in this camera, but it has lots of longan. I'm going to be doing a harvest video on that Longans have been kind of problematic for producing fruit, but I noticed as soon as I applied the worm tea and the bunny manure to it, it produced fruit. I don't think it's a coincidence because it hasn't fruited in like 7 years. Look, the chickens are doing laps. They're all the way back here now. I feel like as long as I'm out here with these sweet little chickens, my sweet little, well, I should call them jacks, sweet little hen flock, that as long as we're out here with them, the likelihood of a predator grabbing them is probably pretty small. But not zero. And then when we're not here, we'll coop them up. I put them in the rabbit run during the day just so they can still be out, but it doesn't have a top on it. So therefore, if a cat did want to come over the top, or a hawk or something, that would be a problem. But it's got so much cover from that fig tree that I don't think they'll really be seen. The rest of it is the cover from a tarp. They're starting to really feather out. They were terrified last night, though. First night in the hen house. It looks nice to us, but I think to them it was strange. I actually took them in there a couple of times during the day yesterday and just shut the door and let them be in there, and they were really calm. They went right up on the roosting bar and almost took naps. A couple of them took naps in there, and they were very calm. This is during the day. Hey there, buddy. These little barred rocks are so friendly. You wiping your beak on me? I'm not kidding you when I say that this one, which we call Sally the sea monster, C is for chicken, that Sally flew up on my shoulder already. So she's pretty happy with just kind of hanging out. These chickens are known to be good lap chickens, believe it or not. If you're into that kind of thing, I kind of am. And they get very affectionate. Look at that. You want to get up here too, don't you? They're starting to look like little hens. Isn't it weird? They look like miniature chickens. Woo! Oh, here's another big success story this year. It's, again, same approach. It's a lime tree. Never grown a lime tree, but I've had friends who've had key limes, lots of key lime trees, and they had good success with those. This is a Kefir lime. And the cool thing about a Kefir lime is it seems to tolerate salt water on the leaves rather well, and it grows vigorously. So if you compare that to what the grapefruit tree looked like, about same conditions, this one's still thriving. No pesticides or whatever, or anything on them besides what I told you about. But look at it, it forms 2 leaves. I thought that was so interesting. I've never seen a leaf like that. But I'm pretty happy with it, that's for sure. And if this one turns out to be a gigantic grower, I may end up trying to graft some other citrus onto this one. Again, in the citrus game. This is the one thing I can't believe, which is that my orange tree hasn't died yet. I am an expert at killing orange trees mistakenly. It's a Valencia, and it's still alive, but despite the watering and the care for it, I don't see any growth or any signs of anything. It just sits there, unlike everything else that was planted at the same time. So we'll see. It's in the middle of, this sprinkler here reaches to just about there, and then this one back here reaches to just about there. So it's right in the middle, the only sliver it can exist in where it's not going to get salt water on the leaves. So I tried this time very hard. This is a championship fig, the Guineri, G-E Neri, I think it's called. Giant fig tree. Doesn't necessarily get that big in terms of its height. It's about 12 feet tall, but it does produce gigantic figs, and we'll see. It's also growing through all the normal problems, which is always with a fig tree, the rust. But plenty of ways to treat that, or just let it kind of happen. If you want it to grow beautifully and bigger, you'll treat it. If not, you'll probably just tolerate the way it looks, like me. I'm going to take you back into the inner sanctum. We're going back deep into the banana encrusted fruit forest, which is blocked by tripods and piles of banana trunks. Yes. Suriname cherry. The understory growth part of your food forest is, to me, a really cool thing. This is Suriname cherry. Grew from a pit. We've gotten cherries off of this, so I know it's a good producer and the fruit tastes good. Got Barbados cherry that I'm under here, and I try to come back here and look because when this thing, I see it's lots of Barbados green cherries, but none of them red yet that I can see. That's good to notice. I'll come back here and hit that. There's another region. Look at this, a little path. I keep this little path cut back here because this is my secret spot. Look at this. Another fig tree. Look at the figs. Same result. Now, this one I have not fertilized with the rabbit turds. In fact, nothing back here. It reminds me I need to pay some attention. But yeah, I grew this from a cutting off that tree you see in the rabbit cage, and it's thriving. And this is more of a foresty experience. I've got it growing in with a Dracaena or whatever, but another great place to harvest and another great place to put edibility in. And look, also beauty. I just think the shady little spots in your yard like this are such cool little mystical spots. And what I mean by the word mystical is not anything woo necessarily. But what I mean is it's a place of discovery and mystery. You don't know what is going to happen next. Snake coming through. Got a few little black racers that live back here. We're going to see a sprout of a type of fruit tree or something that is really cool. Maybe we can go look here in a second. So it's just a world filled with novelty and beauty. This is Mexican Petunia, and I used to, prior to permaculture concepts, I used to look at this as a a decision I can never unmake, which is true, but as a negative thing. That now, if I wanted to change, but it'll never go away because it grows under the ground very aggressively. But here's what it does do: it breaks down into organic material very quickly, so it makes a great chop and drop plant. Oh, I wish there was a... Look at these. Look at these Barbados cherries. There's plenty of Barbados cherries. All green, all little. I'm going to have to keep my eyes open. Giant oyster plants, too. I love planting stuff like that, and then you just start to look around. Oh, I see one of the chicken's favorite weeds here to eat. Found out that this is, at least the chickens I got, it's like their main, most delicious thing. Looking around on the ground here to show you something I noticed the other day, which was a beautiful croton that had grown from a seed. Usually they're grown from cuttings. It's always interesting to me when you see a difference. Where is it? Oops, hopefully I didn't crush it with these giant bananas. Look, there's a banana hand right here just to give you an example. I need to get that off the ground. What you doing? You got bananas laying on the ground. That's the way you want to live? Where are those sweet chickadees? Chickadees are in here. Oh, look at the chickadees. Hello, chickadees. I'm going to keep that weed behind my back so that they don't get too excited. Hey, chickadees. You taking a little nappy? Oh. You think I'm Mama Hen? Oh, you smelled this. The one came behind my back and ate it, a piece of it. They could smell it? How the... Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Now you'll perform. Ah! Right away they went for this little type of weed, and now everywhere they go it gets eaten up first. Again, I used to view this weed as a problem. Look at how these little creatures just automatically turn a so-called problem into an absolute benefit. They'll probably drop 3 turds right here. Come on, chick chick. Come on, chick chick. That's it. Woo-hoo. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, they've been out free ranging now for a decent part of the afternoon. I think we'll probably let them chill in here for a bit. Looks like they were wanting to do that anyway, to sit in the shade. Put up some thermometers around town here to make sure that almost 90. So they're more than warm enough. It's just that it's getting to the point where they probably just want to not move. I think that's the decision the rabbits made a while ago. Bumper? I think he's asleep. Rabbits can actually sleep with their eyes open. I don't know if you knew that. Isn't it interesting? Systems of systems. My worm farm is absolutely getting roasted in the frying pan of nuclear heat the sun is producing at all moments here. So I've got to get that under control. Need to build a roof. Need to put it back into the shady fruit farm. I think I'm going to move it back into the deeper layers we were just in and relocate it, just because. I'll give you an example of what's going on here. This fence is due east west. All right, so this is south. This time of year already, look at how much shade. This is like your backyard Stonehenge, right? Or your backyard sundial. Look at this. How much shade from the sun. You know how direct that sun has to be to produce that angle of shade? It is almost directly overhead. That's what I mean. It just fries everything. In the wintertime, we'll have shade that comes out to about here. So I was thinking it would be really cool to build, I've been wanting to do this for a while, build a backyard time-telling device, like a sundial, but you could easily just build a strip of wood or whatever right here and mark during the times of the year what time, you could track it. So I might do that. Chicken henge. I'm gonna make my own chicken henge. And these are my little druid chickens. Now, did we get 3 that went out? Hey, that wasn't the plan, guys. Alright, well, 3 birds in the hand is better than none. Boy, if I could get another one of those tasty weeds they'd like, come in a heartbeat. Come on, chicken. Come on. Come on. Sometimes if I run, they'll just chase me. Well, my flock has been divided. My attention is still here. So the herbaceous underlayer of a food forest. That's what I'm trying to do here. Planted 3 different varieties of banana trees here. Ice cream banana, apple banana, and a, what I think, I lost track of my cuttings, is an Orinoco. So we'll see. But these will get pretty big. And then this will just be growing in and amongst it, which I think is going to work out pretty well. By the way, please give it a thumbs up if you made it this far. I can only say thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's about time. Another thing I'm going to do is propagate some more mulberry. See this? Just ready to be propagated. I wanted to wait until after the fruiting. See, still got a few fruit on it, but definitely. That's good. One of my issues is with sun, and this time of the year is the time to get your sun issues under control, is this coop is in the fryer. Believe it or not, it's supposed to be shaded by this giant mango tree from all the south exposure, but the sun is so direct that it comes right down on it. So, what do you do about that? Well, I'm going to go with natural shade. And how I'm going to do it is, in the short term, is get this pigeon pea growing up. Hope the chickens don't eat it all up, but I've got a nice hardy pigeon pea. I just got to get some water on it. Yeah, how many mulberry trees is too many? Well, I don't know. There's one. I had about 5 along the side here. I've got 2 now, and I need more. I need actually a mulberry tree right here, which is a great spot for a fast-growing tree that has leaves. It's just deciduous, leaves in the summer, no leaves in the winter, less leaves in the winter. And that works out for this coop quite well because it'll be mostly shaded in the winter. In the meantime, the pigeon pea should grow fast enough that I can get it up to a 6-foot, 8-foot, 12-foot height, and also train it this way so that it'll protect at least from this western exposure of sun. And the chickens, of course, have that on. That's why I built it like this, is I have a place for the chickens to seek refuge from the sun. It's nice and shady and nice down there. The chickens, oh, they're all the way over there under the lemon tree. They're really starting to become much more relaxed. Oh, I'll show you one other thing. I love to add these nuggets towards the end of a really long stream like this. Now I know why my queen palm died. That is a type of horrible fungus that infects palm trees, that if your tree gets it, it's over. Game over. Well, my tree got it. I didn't even see it there, but it grew out from the base. Now, problem is, this can spread to other palm trees if I don't kind of carefully get rid of it, but I'm going to try to carefully get rid of it. Fortunately, I've cut the trunk and put it around in a couple places, so we'll see what happens, but I'm not too worried. Well, there it is, the food forest. I hope in some way this inspires you to do the same if you're interested in these kinds of things. I'm certainly very happy in the state of permaculture that I've established so far, and more to go. Much more to go. And the amount of food that is already starting to be produced is astounding. Nice, Treasure Outdoors. Right on. Yeah, keep coming in the comments too. Maybe we'll do a collab video. That would be fun. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I love doing those kinds of videos more than any, because I always learn things, and that to me is super fun. The recent one that I did with Ben over at Indian River Yards, Food Forest, and with Suzanne over Funky Chickens, those are my favorite videos of recent. So think it over. Never know. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great day. Hope you have increasing abundance in every area of your life. Thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Maybe I'll go over to Tractor Supply today. Can't resist.